Kelneka.
That's the Jedi that offed himself.
Oh, Kelneka, yeah. And he seems to be one of the most memorable characters in the show, and he's not even one of the main characters. Just, he's dead. People like, I love that guy. Whoever he is, I love that guy.
Let's make a show about him instead.
There'll be a whole other off series about that one Jedi, the weird Jedi that offs himself, sitting there floating in his protected field. It was a cool scene, though. So what did you think of the Acolyte overall?
It was alright.
It was alright?
Yeah.
Right. What would you rate it out of 10?
3. Still going with 3. Yeah.
A 3 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, just too predictable.
I would have definitely gave it better than average. What
would you give it?
I'm probably around a 7.
A 7?
I think overall it was really good. Like, despite like some of the actors, like that Yorick actor being a dumbass, right?
So he's so super good. I'm the best. Oh. This is the other part that I don't like it, because they're, you know what? I'm gonna make a quick prediction. I'll probably be wrong, but if I'm right, it just kind of shows you what the problem with this show is. The Yorick actor is going to have some sort of love triangle with the main character.
You think so?
Yeah, they've already sowed the seeds. They showed potential when he started following her around, and then backed her up when they found the Jedi in the basement. They're already starting it.
Oh, man,
if they do it, it's going to be horrible because it's so predictable.
It doesn't make, like, I would be absolutely shocked.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy, you want to get away from these normal, like, tropes of, like, relationships and things like that, like your traditional relationship type stuff. That would be so shocking for me if Leslie Headland went for some sort of normal sort of romance type relationship. That would be
we'll see.
Shocking.
But it's not normal. Jedi aren't supposed to be in relationships together.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, this is supposed to be like the gayest Star Wars ever. But so far, I haven't seen anything that's super gay.
Maybe she'll fall in love with Jackie Lawn.
Yeah, if anything. Hopefully, they keep the whole romance thing out of it. We don't want this to be a rom-com or anything like that. Yeah.
Anything romantic would kind of take away from the core story.
No, I think a lot of people would hate that.
But I really like the Kelneka guy, the random floating Jedi who killed himself. I thought it was the most interesting part of the story.
No, from what I read around the internet, he seems very popular. Like,
there was actually
very curious.
Yeah, well, and there's actually some. It's interesting. Like, why did he kill himself? There's actually some conflict there. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel conflicts at certain points. Like when she finds out that her sister's still alive, I didn't feel the emotion or the gravity of that. Like, if you thought someone was dead for 10 years and then all of a sudden you find out or figure out that they're alive one way or another, what would your reaction be? She was still freaking happy afterwards.
What do you mean? They had their scene where they were shocked. They were fighting each other. They were in conflict when they first saw each other.
Wow, right? They didn't really fight each other. So they weren't going to be like
run up to each other.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting them to. I was more like, I don't know what I was expecting.
They weren't meeting each other at an airport in this scene.
Yeah, I know, but I just. But even before that, when she figures out that her sister's still alive and the one that's committing murders, there's not a lot of emotion. And even when she's first arrested for the crime of killing Carrie-Anne Moss's character, which was just such an Endara, which was just such a shame, because Carrie-Anne Moss's that fight scene at the beginning started the show off pretty good, because that was a really good fight scene. It was very interesting.
Yeah, pretty strong start, I thought.
It was a pretty strong start, and then they just randomly killed Carrie-Anne Moss's character just to say, hey, look, it's like that Scream thing, you know. You ever watch the original Scream? Yeah. They had what's her name there? What's the lady's name? Anyway, they killed the famous actress, and big ticket. The whole show is based around her, and everyone should go see this movie because she's in it. And then they just killed her within the first 5 minutes of the movie. That's what it felt like to me. That's the kind of trope that they went to. Oh, we're gonna pull this big name that everyone likes, and especially in sci-fi, and then kill her off in the first 5 minutes.
So you didn't like it because of they did it in Scream. And that's a trope.
I didn't like it because it felt like it was forced in order to try and it's hard to explain, but it's something that
they try to kill big name actor for a shock value.
Exactly, that's what it felt like.
I didn't feel the shock of it. I knew this is a murder mystery. They had to kill somebody, and there's a lot of big name actors in this.
Well,
yeah. And then there's Carrie-Anne Moss. I was just a little disappointed we don't get a little bit more Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt it was just kind of done to for the shock value, and that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I mean, then they could have put in any actor. It would have been better for you, like a B-list actor of no name.
I don't even know if that's what it would have been. I think the biggest way they could have improved it is even if they were going to kill Carrie-Anne Moss, at least center the episode around it, like a kind of a little bit of a back and forth, maybe some background as to why this is such an emotional fight for the. Or I don't know. I don't know how they could make it better, but it just
you have to build into that, understand why. The whole point of the story is to tell you.
And they could have just killed a random character. Probably would have just been better, because at least you wouldn't have, she's billed as one of the top billings in the show to go see it. Yeah. And then I don't know.
And then they just kill her.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's a great way to start it. Actually, Number one, you got a big name actor, right? And you start off with a major conflict, right? A death. Someone of the biggest names in Star Wars or during that time was just murdered, right? And they had a good actor do it, which is I don't have a problem with, right? And then my biggest beefs. Okay, I'll tell you some of my biggest beefs. It did start off pretty bad, and it started off right at this moment right here. 100 years ago, before the rise of the Empire, it is a time of peace. The Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic prospered for centuries without war, but in the dark corners of the galaxy, a powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. That's already too much, because we learned that during the show. Like, some people are learning the Force in deep. You're giving it away. That's not backstory. That's not context. That's giving it away. And then right after that, one of them, a lone assassin, risks discovery to seek revenge. You're giving it away. That's the whole point of the show, right? Like that's
not much of a murder mystery if you give the murderer away in the first, literally the first 10 seconds of the show.
Literally opening it up by just giving it away. That's the whole point. The whole point of your story is to tell this story. Mind-boggling a little bit. But from then it actually really picked up with the Carrie-Anne Moss fight and learning about Osha and her sister.
I didn't really like the scene where they were training the younglings in the Jedi Temple. The dialogue in it was really bad.
Wow. I didn't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Just the first. Maybe I'll enjoy it more afterwards. The first few. It just started out really rough. Like it started out good with the fight. I'll give you. It was a well choreographed, awesome fight. I enjoyed watching it. Yeah. I was a little annoyed that they killed off Carrie-Anne Moss's character, but I was able to look past it. And then they get to this scene where he's training the young Jedi, and the dialogue that's coming out of there is just so cheesy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It wasn't the best. And what I thought was a little bit weird, in the trailer we had that youngling go off saying, "I see fire," right? And seeing like, okay, that's going to be an important character to lead into something. But then when I watched the show, it's really nothing.
Yeah,
it's just another random vision,
Yeah, just some kid. I
see fire.
I like fire.
Yeah, and then Soul's like, yeah, that's cool.
All right. Well, I'll explain it away with some bullshit Jedi line and move on.
Yeah, I mean, like that's pretty normal. Don't worry about it, kid. You're like, on to the next thing. I'm like, okay, that had some potential right there.
Well, they were foreshadowing obviously, because if you go back to the visions that Osha was having, there was a lot of fire in that, and I think they were kind of foreshadowing that, but it was so terribly done.
Yeah, but how quickly Soul just glazed over that, like, oh, yeah, that's pretty normal. On to the next.
Normally, when Timmy talks about fire, you pull Timmy aside and say, like, "Don't burn that school down."
Like, what else are you seeing in your visions? Maybe we should be concerned, but no, forces fire. It's like a power. Yeah, we're on to the next.
We're good.
Yeah,
go on there. What was that? What was the name of that green Jedi? the part of the council.
I didn't like her.
She was
character.
horrible.
Yeah, something about her. She was just. But maybe that's kind of the point, is that there are some characters
They
that
should have killed her in
unlikable.
the first 10 minutes of the show.
They should have killed her instead. Absolutely.
Would have right away improved the show.
Right? Yeah.
Terrible.
Get rid of that one. Keep Carrie Ann Moss. Yeah, but she was very unlikable, and I can't really figure out why.
Well, it's just the way that she had a very condescending, uppity way of talking, and I don't know.
I think maybe that's the point, like, not all characters are supposed to be likable.
No, but I mean, you can make a dislikable character that is interesting at least, but she was very one-dimensional. The fluffy aristocratic bad guy with no depth.
I just hope she was intentionally made to be dislikable, because they nailed that then.
Yeah.
Right? But if she's not, she's supposed to be like, the coolest, and oh my god, did they fail there.
Hard to say with Kathleen Kennedy.
Wow, yeah, it is hard to say, really, on opening lines like this. Can I have another beef? I have another beef with this show.
Sure.
It'll blow your mind. Something to consider, and I'm going to take us to this. And I did like the sets. This is very Star Wars. They did a good job on that, and costume design. I didn't mind that at all. Here, we'll see if we can find my beef.
No,
it's actually this guy right here.
Terrible character.
Even though he's a dumbass, I find he acted his role very well, but his role had problems. This is the scene you didn't like. This very unlikable green Jedi, I don't even care about her name, I don't want to know it right now. Yeah, but wow.
Tall Yoda.
Tall Yoda.
Yeah,
she was very unlikable.
Even her face, she looks like a total Karen. She's the kind of person that goes to the grocery store and asks to see the manager. I'd like to see the manager of the Jedi Temple, please.
My lightsaber is making weird noises.
I want a refund on this thing I bought 6 years ago.
Yeah, I just did not like her character. Yeah, that's exact. She's Jedi Karen. That's what she seems and looks like.
Jedi Karen.
Yeah. I didn't mind this scene here where they're escaping. I found it very interesting. The more she helped people, the more she was getting punished for it.
I actually thought that the whole his spaceship crashing with a little bit of consequences was kind of interesting.
Yeah, you said you didn't like this girl's makeup.
Not really. I don't like the character design.
Her makeup?
Yeah.
Not great.
Not great.
I think they kind of derived as much as they could from art.
Yeah,
previous
maybe.
art. I mean, I think it's about as much as
probably.
You can do.
I mean, I really like Ahsoka, and I thought they did a good job with her makeup. So maybe it's just the alien type I just don't like.
That certainly didn't bother me at all. There's a lot of new types of aliens, which I thought was weird. But
chill.
You ready to talk about my beef of the first 2 episodes right here? And we're talking specifically to you, Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland. If you're going to talk about tropes and sexist tropes and stuff like that, please don't be hypocritical about it. Because if you were to put a half-naked girl in a scene and have a guy come in and mock them and tell them to put their shirt on, you'd be losing your freaking minds. Right, here's a scene where they have a guy without a shirt on, thirst trapping, Leslie Headland.
True.
And you're complaining about female tropes and sexualizing women and all that. Please stop. That is ridiculous. Then you have this guy coming in and then get mocked and told to put a shirt back on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable and kind of pointless. Just so you could mock the man in your show. Yeah,
it doesn't do anything to develop any of the characters involved whatsoever. No. You're 100% right. That is very cringe.
Yeah, and cringe is the right word right there. And then his Padawan comes in and mocks him. Yeah, I don't think so.
Which is extremely disrespectful and doesn't really make sense for this time. But I mean, on the flip side, it does show you a little bit about Daphne Keene's character and the rebellious side that they're trying to infuse her with.
Yeah, but she's very mature. And then we've got Yorick, aka Grunk, right?
Potential love interest.
Yeah. I don't see anything happening there. But wow,
I'm calling it right now. There's gonna be a love story, and it's gonna be between between the main character and York.
Yeah,
I'm going with it. I'm just putting it out there.
This kind of goes along with your beef is here, how they're kind of using a big name actor to kind of draw in some views, and then they just kill her. You're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if they bring her back? That's another thing I thought about. Maybe she is part of the plot twist.
That would actually be kind of interesting,
right?
If they can pull it off well, it'd be kind of interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see what comes up in the next few episodes, right?
There's enough. I will say that there's enough there that I would continue to watch it.
Yeah.
It's not bad enough that I was like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
There was enough plot points where I was like, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
You had a theory about the guy who sold her the poison. What was that?
Oh, that he could be a Sith Lord.
You think he's the Sith Lord? Yeah.
He could very well be, because you did notice, like, he quoted Sith code. He made the poison, and he quickly overwhelmed Osha in that one scene. Osha had no chance. He just like grabbed her and put her, and that's just after fighting Soul, after fighting Indara. How did he overpower her? How did he do that? He's more powerful himself. Right? So anyway, I almost thought that if that is true, that he almost gave it away too easily. Because it's a murder mystery, but they're kind of taking away the mystery out of it.
The investigation element to find out who the Sith Lord is that's not a Sith Lord, because they didn't believe in Sith Lords in that time period.
Yeah, and in our first 2 episodes, we were kind of figured out. And along with that whole intro line, just giving away what the plot of the whole show is about.
I will give him credit for one thing though, because she kept using those daggers that you can see in the promo shot there, which is good, because if she started whipping out a red lightsaber right away, there's no way that for 100 years they could say they haven't seen a Sith Lord. So as of right now, she doesn't look like a Sith Lord. She's just a Force user who's looking for revenge, and we've seen other Force users that weren't Sith Lords, like the Inquisitors.
Well, a lot of people are really caught up on the whole there were no Sith and haven't been seen for hundreds of years, but I like to think of the parallels between the Star Wars universe and even in our own world, where one person claims something doesn't mean it's true. Yeah. It could be a cover-up. It could be propaganda.
Well, and I mean, if they do it right in this show, it could show like the cracks already showing in the Jedi Order, like their refusal or their insistence on living in denial that there's possibly this huge threat, which is when they ignored it all these years ago before the events of the rise of the Empire. That wound festered and created the Empire, and if they had dealt with it 100 years before, maybe that whole thing doesn't happen, right?
Yeah. The what if.
Yeah, the what if scenario, exactly.
So recently, we've got your Thrawn costume, I've got Enoch costume. We've been moving everything into like trying to capture our own Star Wars stuff, and I've been building a spaceship for our characters. And so you can see I got this big old green screen here now, hey? Kind of expanded a little bit. Let's see if I can get you into a scene. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Have you seen what I've made so far?
Yeah, you were showing me the other day.
I got a little bit more. So what I'm thinking is trying to like, I think one of the biggest values I could bring to the cosplay community right now is just what I've learned in my CapCut edits. I could do everything on my phone, which is super convenient, right? I don't have to go to a computer and start transferring files and do all that. That was the whole point of it, is to make it as simple and streamlined for myself as possible, while as getting the nicest looking thing as possible. So I'd like to kind of continue and to kind of share as much as I can with the cosplay community.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and I think that's where I can provide the biggest value for everybody, is showing how I capture all this, and maybe other people can learn it too. So I'm gonna bring you kind of over here, get a little green screen going, and maybe see what you look like. Yeah, but maybe build a character. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah, let's try this.